Okay. Okay. Right. What's going on, Warriors? It's your boy Lionheart. I'm back like I never left. I want to talk about Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy 15 is... I don't know, man. I really don't want to slate this game. I don't want to rant about it. I don't want to disrespect the game because it's actually an incredible game. The game is godlike. The world is godlike. The combat is godlike. And that's kind of where it ends being godlike. Right? Because, okay, so first of all, let me address there's no old wall summon. Are you kidding me? And you fucked up there, Square. Two, this has got spoilers, by the way. Big spoilers. And I'm going in. Hard body. Luna dies. Now, her death meant nothing to me. Nothing. Nothing. Like, she was hardly in the game. So by the time it got to her death, it had no impact on me. Because I didn't even feel like I got to know the character. I felt like I knew the character more during the build-up to the release of this game. The trailers, all the trailers you saw with Luna, I felt like I knew her more from the trailers than I did the game. And that's another thing I want to say. If you watch Kingsglaive and played Final Fantasy 15, the Luna depicted in Kingsglaive and Luna depicted in the game are two totally different characters. They're not even the same character. It's the same thing for Ravus. Like, he's actually a character. I actually found him very interesting. But nothing. Him as well. In Kingsglaive, he was a punk. He wasn't shit. In this, he seemed like he had some type of element about him that was not explored. It was just, he was thrown away. He was thrown away. And compare him, the game version and the Kingsglaive version, not even the same character. That shit made no sense. The chapters in the game were mad short. Mad short. The chapters that should have been good, like, for example, chapter 2. Because chapter 2 is from when you find the information that the Insomnia, Lucius Empire, has been invaded and King Regis has been killed. That, leading up to it, you're going to meet Core and taking on some of the Niflheim Magitech soldiers. Way too short. Yeah, you go to a dungeon. No cutscenes. The cutscene when you talk to Core inside the royal tomb that you've seen in trailers, that was the whole scene. That was it. There was nothing extra. There was nothing special. That was it. So it's almost like we have already seen the game from the trailers. The important parts, and there weren't that many important parts in this game, I'm going to be very honest with you. I was playing through the game and I was waiting for something good to happen. Something good for the story to start, to immerse me. It didn't happen. It didn't materialize. I thought the game was going to get better. It didn't get better. It kind of got worse, to be honest with you. Chapter 13, chapter 2, shit. Chapter 3, shit. Way too short. Chapter 13, absolutely garbage. When you are traveling through the final stage to get to the boss, yeah, that stage is always supposed to be magical, mystical, amazing. It's when the character is basically on his own. He gets separated from his party and he's traveling at a weakened state. Final Fantasy 9, Final Fantasy 10, Final Fantasy 8. It has happened in Final Fantasy pretty much all the way through. This has got to be the worst stage ever. No story. A mad event has happened. Oh, the Empire has been taken over by monsters, by the Magitech monsters. There is no explanation of what happened. Okay, there is an explanation, but the only explanation you find out to what happened in the Imperial City, yeah, Highwind tells you I can't. What's her name? Adriana. You know, Highwind. Can't remember her name. Her full name. Pronounce it properly. Yeah, love her character, and she was with Biggs and Wedge. That is sick. So essentially, she is like the Sepha of this game. You know, she got Biggs and Wedge with her. That is godlike. That is a godlike shout out to textbook Final Fantasy, the history of Final Fantasy, and I like that. She's another character didn't get explored. Shit is rubbish, man. Like, you find notes when you go to Niflheim, the Imperial city. They say, "Oh, it's been taken over by monsters." You know, the chaos that first started back in the day with Arden, it's back. And Arden's unleashing it because, you know, he used to be a healer and all that kind of stuff. And they shunned him, made him feel like a monster, treat him like a monster. And that's why he's become what he became. And in the Imperial City, it's not overflowed with monsters. It is not massive. You get to the actual main building, facility of the Niflheim Empire. It's empty. No guards. No monsters. Nothing. Not spectacular. Not tough. Nothing. It's shit. And Arden actually seals your power. How the fuck does he seal your power? How the fuck does he have any kind of technology to seal the power of Noctis? How? That shit is rubbish. It's rubbish. It's shit. There's no cutscenes in the game. The game has got no cutscenes that I expect on Final Fantasy. Nothing flashing up the story. It makes no sense that the characters did not get explained at all. At all. Even with the main characters. Like, I'll tell you the best chapters in that entire game. The best chapters in that entire game was chapter 11. When Ignis basically was blind and he says, "I want to stay with you guys. If I start to bother you guys or I become a burden, then leave me behind. But I want to fight with you." That scene was incredible. The best two scenes in that entire game. I'm going to say the best two, because obviously the ending bit with Noctis is godlike when he's with Luna. But the two best scenes is chapter 11, at the end of chapter 11, once he gets the sword of the katana sword. Yeah, the sword of the samurai arm. And he's talking with Ignis, and all Promptus, Ignis, Gladiolus and Noct are all talking. That scene is godlike. It's amazing. And the next best scene is the very ending, when Noct says that you guys are the best. That scene was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. The best scenes in that whole game was when the team were talking, when Gladiolus, Ignis, Promptu, Noct were talking. Those were like the best scenes in the game. Where was there not many scenes of that? Even the scene where you see, after the 10-year gap, Noct, Ignis, Promptu, and Gladiolus, I keep saying their name. Yeah, they came into Insomnia. It was only like about, 10 seconds, if even that. It just them acknowledging they're in Insomnia and we're back home. It was amazing. Beautiful. Not enough of that. Not enough of that. And another thing in chapter 13, you had that monster, that thing that kept on hunting you. Yeah? That thing was free. I could kill that thing. But I couldn't kill it, because every time I was about to kill it, it would just disappear, then come back down, and it's have all this life back. So I couldn't kill it. That made no fucking sense. I don't even get me started on that monster. And then when you do kill it, then when they let you kill it, you find out that thing is Ideolus. That's the Emperor. What? Fuck off, man. Don't mess about, man. Don't mess about. You know, it's just, I don't understand the game. You've wasted time on creating DLC for Festival DLC and Moogle outfits and all this kind of stupid shit, and giving Noctis guns and shit that don't make, and fighting an overpowered Squareenix boss in DLC. Why are you wasting resources and time? Useless wasteness. Doesn't make any sense to me. That shit, it's shit to me. It's shit. It doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't mean shit to me. Like, that the brain is just... The brain makes no sense to me. The decision making in this game doesn't mean anything. It feels like an incomplete game. It feels like an incomplete game, blatantly. There's like no story. The story is weak. What I was expecting the story to be didn't show up. Who I was expecting the characters to be didn't show up. Who I was expecting Luna to be didn't show up. What, she was ill? She was dying? I didn't see that. I didn't see that bit until one scene when she was Ravis, which is actually a really good scene. It made a lot of things make sense in the game, but then it stopped again, so it didn't make any sense. So it's just puzzling to me. And even what Ravis did acknowledge the importance of Luna and Nox's destiny. So he did understand it, and he was sympathetic to it. He just didn't want to lose his sister. Okay, interesting. Character assassination from Kingslave the movie, and during the whole game of that character, because that was not the character that was depicted in the whole game. Makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me. I don't understand it. The story, like, I can legitimately say that the story in this game was whack, empty, hollow, basic of the basic. No cutscenes, nothing. It's just, where was Luna? Where was she? She didn't show up, man. Amazing character. You hear in hush whispers, in you know, and in notes and what people say. Oh, she's unlocking the gates for the. She's unlocking the packs for Noctis to come and form a pact with the summons. Why did she have to die? Why did she have to die? Right. So what she's doing is so important, right? Which I do respect that, but that is making her die. What talking to the summons is making her die. It's draining her life energy. I don't understand. Like, you know, and even from Kingslave, I thought she didn't have any magical abilities. Okay, yeah, sure. Like, it's just puzzling to me, man. Like how a game can be shown to be godlike and then turn out not to be godlike. You know what I mean? It's just, it's sad to me, man. Like, they missed so much stuff out of that game. You know, the end boss fight with Arden, garbage. Oh my god, that fight was shit. In my life, I've never seen a Final Fantasy boss have only one transformation, only one form. And a shit form as well. Like, I thought the Ifrit fight was infinitely better than the final boss fight. What? What? It had Shiver in it. It had Bahamut in it. The fight itself was epic, godlike with Ifrit. And the fact that even Ifrit was summoned by Arden, what? Oh my god, man. It looked to me like they just threw shit in there. They're like, you know what? This is what we've got to get in there. This is what we can put in there. Just throw it in there. Rubbish. Rubbish, man. Even Seymour from Final Fantasy X, his boss fight was 20 times better than this fight. Than the Arden boss fight, the final boss fight. It was shit. It was absolutely garbage, man. Like, oh my god, man. It's just, and some things just, it felt like it didn't make sense. They didn't even try to make it make sense. You know, there's so many missed opportunities. Like what is it? The world of chaos. When you came back from that island and the whole world was like messed up after the 10-year gap. That world was incredible. I was actually in the beach area for like 3 hours, just fighting with Noct on his own. I was fighting the demon wall. I was fighting iron giants. I was fighting enemies, man. I was enjoying the dark world. And then when you come back, you meet what's this called again? I can't remember his name. Talkit. Yeah, and he tells you they're in Lestalem, and Iris has become the demon hunter, the legendary demon slayer, or whatever. You don't even see her. They say Cindy has become like some revolutionary leader. You don't even see her. Where is she? Cindy's still kicking about, and he's still kicking, but he's not as grave as he was, but he's still there. Where the fuck are they? You just come back to Hammerhead and you got some rebels there. That's it. You can't interact with them. It could have been so much more godlike. Like, what? And then you could go all the way from Hammerhead straight to the Insomnia, which was a godlike stage. But it still felt, even the godlike stage of Insomnia felt like it was hollowed out. as godlike as it was, it just seemed like something was missing. Like there was something empty, like it had no heart. I don't even know how to explain it, man. This shit was rubbish. It was rubbish, man. And the fact that the summons can only appear in certain areas under specific situations. Come on, man. Don't fuck about, man. Don't fuck about, man. Summons are random, can only appear in certain areas under specific situations. Come on. Where was the rival in this? Where was your rival? Who was the bad guy? What, it's only towards the end you find out that Arden is actually the bad guy? I didn't believe Arden was the main bad guy because it was too obvious, number one. And two, he was always on his own. Where was his captains? Where was his bosses? Where were the people standing in your way? It didn't make, it was rubbish. They tried to make it make sense. Where it said, oh, he's trying to lead you there because he wants to destroy the crystal. He wants to end it once and for all. So he needs you to amass that power so that he can just crush it all within the crystal and the summons which are the gods of Eolus and whatever, forever. So I get they tried to do that, but it was shit. It was such a simple, the most simple. Final Fantasy 13. I feel like the worst Final Fantasy of all had a better story than this. Final Fantasy 13 had a better story than Final Fantasy 15. Now, Final Fantasy 15, believe it or not, the world, I give the world of Final Fantasy 10, 15, 10 out of 10. Easy, 10 out of 10. The dungeons in themselves are absolutely incredible. The end game, 10 out of 10. The dungeons, I was in a dungeon yesterday, level 99 dungeon. I was in that dungeon for 4 hours. I was in a dungeon for 4 hours and it was fucking incredible. The reward didn't feel like it was worth it, but still I enjoyed going down into that dungeon. The combat is fucking incredible. You got weapons switching. It's like Devil May Cry. But you don't learn that until you get the Ring of Lucii. And the Ring of Lucii was actually shit. The Ring of Lucii was shit. What did you get with that? What, holy magic that isn't even that powerful? The effects of that ring are good. When you could summon like some kind of like spirit bomb, some crystal spirit bomb, holy spirit bomb or something like that. It's godlike. The death spell is godlike, but it's not powerful. You can only do that on low level enemies. It doesn't mean anything. Or weak enemies. Whatever. Cool beans. The actual effect of the ring is godlike, but this is what everyone has died to try to get you. Rubbish. And not only that, yeah, but Luna in the Kingsglaive, she was escaping from the Empire. They couldn't catch her. Yet in this one, she appears to be under their control. Like they're controlling her. They're monitoring her. They can get her whenever they want. I don't understand it. I don't understand. Like, the story is inconsistent between actually Brotherhood, Kingsglaive, and the game. They're meant to be intertwined, but they're not. They're detached. They're inconsistent, man. There's story holes all over the place. It doesn't fit together. The only thing that actually fits together is the fact that Noctis, Promptu, Ignis, and Gladiolus are brothers. You know, they're comrades in arms. That's the only consistency. Regis and Noctis. The bond between father and son, I didn't see it. The thing that they played up so much, I didn't see it. I didn't see how godlike that relationship was. I mean, it is massive that Regis knew from the beginning what his son was going to have to do. His son was going to have to die to end it all. It was massive. When you watch that trailer where he's carrying his son, yeah, in the trailer that they released, I think it was like beginning of this year, last year, whatever. It's massive when you play the game. But then they didn't emphasize on that. They didn't emphasize on that relationship between father and son. I didn't see it, man. I didn't see it, man. I was just playing that game, waiting for the game to start, man. I'm fucking pissed. I'm pissed, man. The story, I give the story of Final Fantasy 15 a 4 out of 10. For a Final Fantasy game, 4 out of 10. I give the narrative of Final Fantasy 15 a 5 out of 10. Right? But I give the combat an easy 10 out of 10. I give the world a 10 out of 10. Blatant. Free. Free. If I was to grade the whole game as a whole, I would grade Final Fantasy 15 an 8 out of 10. I really want to give it a 7 out of 10, but I can't. Because in me doing that, I'm saying that the game is complete shit, and it's not complete shit. Despite the whack story and terrible narrative, the game is godlike. Because the characters are sick. Ardina, a Highwind. Noctis, Gladiolus, Promptu, Ignis, amazing characters. Core actually did seem really interesting. It's just that he wasn't explored. I don't know. I thought he'd be more important than he was, but, you know, whatever. Yeah, the characters are amazing. Biggs and Wedge are in there. You know, I wish Luna was more than what she was. I really wanted... I actually was enjoying the game. I actually played the game for maybe 150 hours before I moved to Chapter 4. It's only after I got to Chapter 4 that it speeds you through to Chapter 6, yeah? And I just thought of, where are the cutscenes? When is this game going to start? So I started to play it just to see if I can see something, taste what the gravity of the story is. And it didn't show up. I just thought, why do I feel so empty playing this game? I felt hella empty. You know what I mean? You have to wait to get, like, the big summons, like Shiva. You have to wait till the end chapter, to pretty much the end of the game, to get her. Why? If she was Gantiana, and she was on your side anyway, why do you have to wait to get her? If she's going to join you anyway. Why? It's so puzzling to me. It's so puzzling to me. And she's an amazing character, man. But you just get her as well. You know, and the boss fights, there wasn't enough boss fights in that game. The best boss fight was the Leviathan boss fight. And Ifrit boss fight. Those are the two boss fights, the two best boss fights. All the other boss fights were absolute shit. There weren't any. I don't understand it in the Final Fantasy. I don't understand it. It makes no sense to me. And then you have a chance to do an incredible boss fight for the end boss fight. And what the fuck, man? Like, you're taking the piss out of me. You're taking the absolute fucking piss out of me. You know, with Ravus, wasted. Boss fight, wasted. Luna, an amazing character, potentially wasted. Oh, like, and then you wasting time on all this fucking DLC festival shit. Fucking dumb. Fucking costumes making it look like a Moogle with comedy, goofy, wacky shit. What are you doing? Focus on the game. Focus on the story. Focus on that shit. Come on, man. Come on. What happened to that cutscene? I swear there was a cutscene in the trailers where you saw Luna getting attacked by some goat fucker. Like he pushed her on the floor when she was a kid. Where did that kind of materialize in the game? That shit wasn't even in it. I've seen stuff in the previous trailers, the recent trailers, that weren't even in the game. Wasn't there one where they were walking in the world and it was kind of like red or something like that? And it will say something about Luna or whatever. Or, you know what I mean? Like, there was some... I feel like I'm seeing stuff from the trailer that just didn't make it into the game. I don't understand. Two things should have happened. One, they didn't put it in the game, which is bad. Or two, they cut it out of the game, which is even worse. So I don't know, man. I don't know why they would go for it, but they did say that they are going to be making the game, adding more stuff to the game, right? And that shit better be for free, right? Puzzled, man. Like, puzzled. There's so many things in that game that just don't make sense to me, you know, like what happened in the Imperial City, Ideolus and Ravus, big things happening with them and they just die, You know, that game could have been so much more bigger and huger and all this kind of stuff. And now they're talking about making your own personal avatar in the game. And what the fuck is all that shit? Like, who wants to make their own Final Fantasy character? Main character's the main character. That's what it is. You know what I mean? I don't understand it, man. I don't understand it. Like, focus on the story. I want meat. I want to have mad cutscenes in Final Fantasy. That's what my Final Fantasy is. It's story. It's cutscenes. It's CG. It's epicness. This was the most unepic Final Fantasy ever. Ever. I've never played a Final Fantasy, a main Final Fantasy, that is not epic. This is the first one that I felt it wasn't epic. I didn't feel the tension building and building and building and building and building and explode and go crazy and take me to a fantastic. I didn't feel it. I didn't feel it at all. I'm puzzled. I'm puzzled. Makes no sense to me. You know, and the game is actually still godlike. That's what kills it about this Final Fantasy. That is still godlike even though it was unepic. You know? It's so strange, man. It's so strange. Like, just a wasteless, like a useless wastefulness. It's shit. It's shit. Like, literally, the brain doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, man, I said I didn't want to rant about this game, and I end up ranting. And yeah, I am cussing the game because it's unacceptable. 10 years. 10 years that you've been developing this game. 3 years that is actually Final Fantasy 15. And you've been going in with the game on this scale, and this is what you've done. I feel like they focus so much on the open world, and the quests in this game are shit. They're shit. They're not even 1% of what the quests are in Witcher 3. It's shit. The mob hunts are godlike, but the quests, in terms of the story and what they bring to the world, is trash. It's bottom tier. It doesn't mean anything to me. It's garbage. It's garbage. Hot garbage. Caca. Yeah, so I don't do the quests. I'm just going to do... When I play the game again, I'm going to do dungeons and main story. That's it. And mob hunts. And that's for the end game, because the end game is astounding. The game is worth it. And as I said, I give the mob hunts, the end game, the combat, 10 out of 10. It's just the story and the narrative is trash. It's trash. It's tragic. It's tragic. You know, so we'll see what they do for this game. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't believe. But we'll see. We'll see what they add. Because there's no way that they can add as much as I want to that game. I want mad cutscenes. I want mad story. I want more events with the characters. Because the talking scenes are the best scenes in the game. In the game, man. You know what I'm saying? Shiva, wasted, get at the end of the game. Bahamut, you don't even get him. What, he only appears in the end boss fight, in one of the end boss fights against Ifrit. And that's it, man. Fuck off. This shit's rubbish. That doesn't mean anything to me. He's non-existent. Non-existent in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? Leviathan. Titan. Why the fuck were they playing such hardball? Why the fuck were they playing such hardball? You know what I mean? You had to sacrifice so much to get them. Yet characters like Shiva just came over to your side. Whatever. I mean, that's me. That's all I want to say about Final Fantasy 15. I'm disappointed. And even though I'm disappointed and disgusted at the way the game is, I still love it. I still think the game is as I said, an 8 out of 10. I wish I could give it more, but I can't because I'm lying. If I gave it more, I'm fucking lying, and I'm not going to be a liar. You know? They just need to fix the story. They fix the story. They add the crunchiness, the meatiness that I want to the story. That's it. The story. For Luna. For Ravus. For what happened in Imperial City. For the journey. I'd give that game a 10 out of 10. The easiest 10 out of 10 I could ever give a game in my life. But I can't do that. Square, man. Sort it out. And add the old wall as a summon in that game. You didn't add the old wall. You fucked up. You done fucked up not adding the old wall as a summon. Pack it up, son. So I want to hear what you guys got to say. Yeah, I really want to hear what you guys got to say about Luna, about the fact that she never showed up in the game. She never showed up. You know, in the game they start talking about Cindy and Iris becoming them legendary hunters and rebel leaders or whatever. Yet they never showed them. You only heard about these stories about the world and the characters on the radio or in notes that you found around the world that explain certain situations. That doesn't mean anything to me. That doesn't mean anything to me. I need to see that shit. I need to see it in the cutscenes, in story. Warriors. That's me talking about Final Fantasy 15. Even though I'm disappointed, and I'm very disappointed and disgusted that, you know, this is the product that we've been given. I'm hopeful that they'll give us what we want. And yeah, man, I'm going to still talk about this game. I'm still going to be doing dungeons. I'm still going to be doing the boss fights. I'm still streaming on Twitch TV because I'm still going to play the game. I still think the game is godlike. I'm just disappointed. So, comment section is down there. Please let me know your thoughts. And yeah, let's do this thing. Alright, Warriors, take it easy and stay blessed.